Hi everybody, welcome back to Basic Beginner Budgets. Today we're going to talk about the why. And you're probably thinking, what do you mean by the why? Well, it is why do you want to get into savings and budgeting and all that? Obviously, everything we do, there's a why behind it. You get up in the morning, you go to work. Why? Because we need to pay our bills. You go to the grocery. Why? Because we need to eat. So there's a why behind everything. And we're going to start off with talking about why I chose to save and why I'm trying to budget and do better with my money. Not to get too much personal, but when I grew up very poor. I lived with a single parent. I'm not going to say whether it was a mom or a dad, but this parent had no clue on how to budget. So obviously, did I learn to budget? No. My other parent is financially stable now, but they're a lot older and retired and all that. The parent I grew up with is not financially stable. She lives on a very low income of her disability, Social Security. So everything that she does basically is on she lives in a low income apartment. So part of the reason of my why is when I get older, I'm quite old now, but I'm not retirement age. And I don't want to live like that. I want to be more comfortable. For years, the parent I live with, they never had their own home. It was always an apartment or a room in an older home that was rented out. This point in my life, I'm okay. I mean, I have a decent job, have a decent house, live in a pretty decent area. I look at how far I come. I remember when I was younger, I was always say, oh, we're not poor. Oh, we were poor. But nowadays, I want to control my money, not be wondering where it's going or how did I get paid one day and then that following Monday I'm broke and I hadn't even paid off all the bills yet. I don't live like that now, but I did. And how often have you gone to the store with $100 bill and you've cashed it and you're like, oh, there goes that $100. I've cashed it, I busted it, so now it'll be gone, and you have no idea where it went. So that is part of my why. And then the other part of my why is my husband may be going blind. So if and when he goes totally blind, there's things I want to do. There's places we want to see. So that's another reason why I'm starting to do these savings challenges. And as you see, I'm starting very low budget. I don't have much to work with. But as I work on it, I will come up with something. So that is two of my whys. You can have more than one why. But the thing of it is you have to find what that is. What is your why? What do you want to gain from it? A lot of people, and like I said, for years, I lived paycheck to paycheck. Sometimes not even paycheck to paycheck. Maybe 6 out of those 7 days, I might have had money, but on that, 6th or 7th day, I didn't have any. So there's a lot of variables, and it's all depends on what you want. You may want to save your money for a boat, or you may want to save your money for a house. You have to figure out the why of why you're doing it. Because if you don't know why you're doing it, then you're not going to gain nothing. You're not going to learn anything. And a lot of times in life, especially when we're having the hard times, we're just trying to survive. And that's, it's hard to admit that. But I had a lot of years I was just surviving. And so I don't want to be just surviving. I want to be enjoying. I want to be not worrying about my financial issues. I'm not saying I want to be rich. I don't ever think I'll be rich as far as monetary things, but I want to be more comfortable. I want to not have to worry if the furnace goes out. Am I going to be able to cover that? Or what type of credit am I going to have to open up to take care of that? I don't want to do that no more. Like I said, recently I had to get a crown. I had to get some dental work done and I had to open up a care credit account because I just didn't have that money. And now, it's sad that I'm at my age, which is, I'm up there. I'm not retirement age, but, maybe about another 10 years or so. And then I'm just now realizing how important it is to have a budget and know where your money's going. And know that, okay, if I can't do this, if I can't pay cash for this, then I'm not going to. If I don't have to, I'm not going to. Now, there are some things that you have to finance. And, at that time, you may need to. But you may finance it, and a year down the road, you don't need to finance it anymore. You can pay it off. So you're not paying all that interest. But like I said, you just have to find your why. And for everybody, that's different. And it's pretty much with most things you do in life. Why did we choose this neighborhood? Because we feel that it's a nicer neighborhood. This is a neighborhood that has kids. I have young kids. Well, I don't, but I'm just using that as an example. If you choose a neighborhood that has kids, usually you have kids. You want your kids to have somebody to play with. You choose a job because it's something you like to do, or you choose a job because it has a pay scale that you like. Nobody likes working a job that they hate. It just makes you miserable. So you need to find out your why for that. Why did I choose this job? No one knows your situation, only you. And that's what you have to go by. You have to find your why. And it may take you a while. And it's not easy doing a budget and sticking to it. I mean, we can all write numbers on a paper, but following that is hard. Especially, you plan for this, and this. And who's to say, oh, I got a flat tire this week. I can't just plug that tire. I have to replace the whole tire. That's not something most people can just pull out of their pocket, especially in the way the inflation and everything is today. So like I said, think really hard about it. Find your why and focus on that. And then hopefully that will help get through the budget. Like I said, following it and sticking to it is a whole nother story of just writing it down and saying, I'm going to do this, this, and this. You have to follow through. And you have to have a want, a why. Why is it so important? For me, I just want to get ahead. Like I said, I don't have to be rich, but I have to be comfortable. And if I want to go out to eat one night, I want to go out to eat. And I don't want to have to take away from my electric bill to go eat. I want to have that money set aside. And for some people, it's not a big deal to go out and eat once a week or twice a week. At one point, we were eating out probably about 4 or 5 times a week. And at that time for us, it wasn't a big deal. Was it a waste of money? Yes. Because we could have very easily ate at home and used that money for something else. So yeah, that's another whole nother thing is reeling in what you spend your money on. Like I said, we would go out to eat 4 or 5 times a week. And I'm not talking about to McDonald's. I'm talking to restaurants. There's just 2 of us and we would spend, $70, $80 on a dinner. And that gets expensive. But at that time, we had the money. We didn't care. Let's just go do what we want to do. So now that we have our why and our focus, which if you ask my husband, he may not say it's his total focus. And that's the other thing. If you're married or you're in a partnership, you need to come together and agree on your why. Me and my husband, we agree on, we want things to be different, but yet I don't think he's quite ready to quit the spending as much as I am. And that's okay. We'll work it out. We'll work together. We'll get our why in sequence, or however you want to say it, and things will be all right. But you have to focus on the why. And so if you would take a few minutes and just stop and think about what's important to you and your family. Like I said, for some, it may be a boat. For others, it may be a house. If you're a family with kids, it may be a vacation to Disneyland. And that's not going to happen overnight. But if you work towards it, you will get there. And then you'll feel so much better after you've gotten there. You'll feel like, oh, I did it. If I did that, then I can do this, or I can do that. But you have to stick to it and do what you need to do to get it done. And sometimes it's not necessarily what we want, but we do it because that's what we want to do, to accomplish. I've talked about picking up a second part-time job to get to part of our why, and I just can't make myself do it right now. I'm not saying I can't do it. I'm just saying I don't really want to. So apparently I don't want my why enough to go through working a second job. But what I am doing is I'm focusing on my budget, staying within my limits, and conquering it that way. Will it take a little longer? Yes. But until I'm ready to do a second job or something like that, or a side hustle, I'm not too, no. I'm doing some other things, and we'll talk more about that later on. But I know what my why is, and I will accomplish it, and then I will find my next why. And I just want to say thank you to everyone for listening. And if you like it, subscribe and tune into the next video. And have a good evening.